Coming up tonight on KSL Outdoors.
Oh, there's fish.
It's part 2 of our Utah Cutthroat Slam series.
Oh yeah, he's got some color.
Tonight, conservation and catching the colorful Colorado River cutthroat on Boulder Mountain.
And whatever else decides to bite our lines. I'm Adam Eakle, and KSL Outdoors starts right now.
KSL Outdoors with Adam Eakle is brought to you by your local Ford stores.
Welcome to KSL Outdoors. I'm Adam Eakle, and welcome to the boulders down here in southern Utah. Tonight we're going after our second subspecies of cutthroat in the Utah Cutthroat Slam. One that I think is probably the prettiest fish we have here in Utah. It's the Colorado River cutthroat.
The mystique of Boulder Mountain is well-deserved. A high, beautiful alpine setting in southern Utah that resembles the high Uintas. Boulder Mountain brook trout here are legendary, but today our target is to check off the native Colorado River cutthroat trout on our Utah Cutthroat Slam.
First fish in the slam. Here we go.
The Utah Cutthroat Slam was initiated by Brett Prettyman with Trout Unlimited.
That's a great way to start off, isn't it?
Brett kicked off our Slam series last month at Bear Lake by catching Bear River cutthroat. Today,
we got about a 1.5 2 mile hike to start out.
we'll need to put in a lot more legwork, however, to get our catch.
To start the Cutthroat Trout Challenge, it's $20. About 19 of that will go right back into cutthroat trout conservation, and if you're under 18, it's $10 to register. So sign up, start catching your 4 subspecies in their native range, call one of the division offices if you have questions. Also great information on TU's website, who has been really the co-sponsor of this program.
In a nutshell, here's how it works. You sign up, get out, catch all 4 native subspecies of cutthroat trout in their native range. Take a picture, submit your information, and you've done it. Everyone who completes the slam gets this cool gold coin and a certificate, and you have the satisfaction of knowing you've helped out native cutthroat populations in Utah.
Boy, beautiful little lake, isn't it?
Yes, this is a great lake.
Lake X,
Yep.
we're calling it, but it has cutthroat in it.
Yeah, it has Colorado River cutthroat, and they should be pretty colored up and bright red right now.
Any bycatch?
Yeah, we could catch some tigers. We've seen them up to almost 10 pounds in here.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, lead away, old
Let's
guy.
get to it.
Well, not the species we're after, just a little tiger trout, but he was aggressive. He came out from under this log like a bullet. Mike says there's some big tigers in here, so we're gonna get him back in the water, try and catch some of those. And we're really here for some Colorado River cuts. So we've seen a few, we just haven't caught them.
We've had probably close to 30 people register from out of state, from about a dozen different states, and we're approaching 300 total registrants for the Cutthroat Trout Slam. So it's getting to be pretty exciting, pretty popular. I'm fielding 4 or 5 calls a week.
To have 95% of what you pay into the program go directly onto the ground. If you have 300 people, I mean, that's almost $6,000 that we can put right on the ground into a project.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, nice fish.
That's a little cut.
So tell me about that fish, native to where?
It's native to the Colorado River drainage in southern Utah, in the Fremont and Escalante River drainages. Boulder Mountain area, Thousand Lake Mountain, Fish Lake area. That's where the Colorados are native to. Like a lot of cutthroat, they'll go after
On a blade, on a little spinner.
flies, spinners, even jigs like we're seeing here. They tend to be fairly easy to catch a lot of the time.
Colorado River cutthroat.
So I think right now we're stocking somewhere in the realm of 12 to 15 lakes with Colorado River cutthroat on Boulder Mountain. So there's a number of streams that also have these same cutthroat. Some of them are remnant populations, meaning they're maintained, always been there. And then there's a few others that we've been able to restore over the years.
Good fish.
There you go. Oh yeah. Here, need a net?
I don't know, but it's a good one.
Let me get over there, I'll bring
All
it.
right, the spinner they like. It's a good fish. I think it's a big cut. Not a giant, but hey, it's what we came for. Woo-hoo-hoo! Aerial.
I think it's a tiger.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It's a big tiger. Dang it. Here I'm complaining about tiger trout, Mike.
It's a nice tiger.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, look at that pretty fish.
That's a good 2.5, 3 pound fish.
Mike's poo-pooing my fish. He says it's just average, like me.
Yeah. 3 pounds is good.
So Mike, the bycatch up here, healthy tiger trout.
Yeah, there's some really nice tigers on Boulder Mountain, and that's a fat, healthy one. Really good looking fish.
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna go check out your guys' conservation efforts here. Where are we headed next?
We're gonna go to Doherty Basin Lake and see our Colorado River cutthroat spawning operation.
Okay, we'll have that here in a moment, but first, let's check out this week's climate quiz question.
The Utah Division of Wildlife manages just over 80 lakes and reservoirs on the Boulder Mountain, along with miles of rivers and streams. Our climate quiz question tonight is, can you name the 7 sport fish you can catch on the Boulder Mountains? Now, once you know the answer, log on to our KSL Outdoors Facebook page, give us all 7 species, and while you're at it, give us a like. We'll then randomly select and announce a winner on our Facebook page the following week. The winner set to walk away with a Climate Static V sleeping pad. Climate, comfortable, rugged, and lightweight. KSL Outdoors will be right back to the Boulder Mountains.
KSL Outdoors is also brought to you by Fish Tech Outfitters, Utah State Parks, Burt Brothers, Sportsman's Warehouse, Evanston, Wyoming, Climate, and Camp Chef.
Welcome back to KSL Outdoors. You know, for decades, biologists have been working across the state recovering and redistributing native cutthroat trout throughout their native range. Here on the Boulders, biologists have been trapping and collecting eggs from Colorado River cutthroat for over 15 years.
We're at the inlet to Doherty Basin Lake on Boulder Mountain. This is the stream that comes in, and right here we have a fish trap.
Using this fish trap in the stream and another trap in the reservoir, biologists will capture enough Colorado River cutthroat trout to give them 100,000 eggs.
Male. On shore, we've got a table set up where they'll actually strip eggs out of the females right onto a screen, and then they'll take a male and fertilize those eggs right there. Once they're fertilized and ready to go, we take them to a hatchery, and then they'll be hatched and raised up to about 2 inches this fall, and then they'll be stocked out all over Boulder Mountain, Thousand Lake Mountain. Ultimately, this is how we get those cutthroat trout. You know, other trout that we stock, we actually have a captive brood that's held in the hatchery, and that's where we get the eggs from. We don't have that for cutthroat. So we have to come to places like this and collect eggs from fish that are out in the wild.
Daughtery Reservoir is about 3/4 of a mile from the nearest road, so all the equipment to conduct this egg take is brought in by horseback or by backpack. Daughtery Reservoir is closed to fishing January 1st through the second Saturday in July every year to protect the fish. It's also artificial flies and lures only, and there is no harvest allowed on any of these fish.
So the Colorado River cutthroat is considered the most colorful of all the cutthroat subspecies. You can see that that belly is a little bit more red colored. Some of them can be really bright red, just solid dark crimson along the whole thing. And he's got a pretty bright gill plate there, opercle, and then some pretty bright slashes underneath his jaw.
Beautiful little fish. There's 5 spawning operations just for Colorado River cutthroat trout for conservation and sport fish purposes throughout the state. All of these subspecies have some level of effort for protection and make sure that we have these for generations to come.
This guy will let go.
You know, everybody has their favorite fish to catch, but these were the fish that were here historically, and it's our civic duty to maintain populations of these fish. That doesn't mean we're going to have these in every stream and every lake in the state, but there is a place for them, and we need to manage for those.
Another little cutthroat.
And these are state-sensitive fish, so the more we can do, the better off populations will be, and the less chance there is of a potential listing in the future under the Endangered Species Act.
So if you were trying to complete your cut slam and get a Colorado River cutthroat, Some of the lakes that you could go to on Boulder Mountain are Doherty Basin Lake, the one that we're at now, once it's open to fishing later in the year. There's also a couple other lakes, Pine Creek Reservoir on the north slope, Short Lake on the southeast end of the mountain, the Boulder Creek drainage, Solitaire Lake. Those are some good ones to go to. And then there's also a number of streams on the south slope of Boulder Mountain where you can catch Colorado River cutthroat.
More from the boulders in a moment, but first, back to the Wasatch Front for tonight's Fish Tech Fish Report.
Hi, I'm Nate Raymond from Fish Tech Outfitters, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a dubbing loop. Dubbing loops work great for flies like on scuds and sow bugs, or on big flies like stoneflies and grasshoppers, or where we want a thin, sparse, transparent body like on a leech. In order to do a dubbing loop, we're going to need dubbing, and we're going to want a dubbing loop tool. To do a dubbing loop, pull down about 6 inches of thread and loop it back around so you have a 3-inch loop from your finger to the hook. Then you're gonna wrap over the loop you just created in order to make it just a loop loose hanging in your wraps. Then you can get your thread kind of out of the way, hook on your dubbing loop tool. This will give you a space in order to pack it full of dubbing. So we're gonna get what I like to call shingles of dubbing. Put them in near the bottom and slide them up towards the top. I'm gonna keep it spaced out and sparse. Now I've got about 3 inches of dubbing, and I'm gonna begin to twist my tool, and it's gonna twist those fibers together and make a rope of dubbing. So you can see I've got a lot of dubbing, and that allows us to just wrap with the tool. Then when I'm done, make sure and keep the twist in, don't let go of the tool, and just tie off the loop and cut out the whole rope. You can see that I've got a lot of bulk and a lot of bugginess, lots of guard hair sticking out of the fly. That's exactly what we want. If you have any questions on dubbing loops or fly tying or anything else, come on down to Fish Tech and we'll help you out. Now for tonight's fishing line.
Oh, there's fish. It's like a cut.
A little bit bigger fish.
Welcome back to the boulders. You know, Colorado River cutthroat trout is our main target of this trip, but here on the boulders, there are many species you can chase.
Look how pretty the crimson on the gill plate. They get even more beautiful than that, but that's a beautiful little female, and hopefully we'll find a male here soon. So lots of them in here. And we're completing our cutthroat slam. Let's go get a bigger one now.
There we go, got it. Tiger. Oh, colorful tiger. Tigers are a lot of fun. You know, the growth rate is a great part about them. They can get really nice size. The other great thing is they're sterile, so that we can control their density, which then we can kind of dial in what kind of growth we're going to get on them. The other great thing, they're pretty aggressive. Anglers really like them. They're a lot of fun to catch. When they're sterile, it's nice because we can use those in a lake with cutthroat trout and they won't threaten the cutthroat.
When you get out here, it's remote. You don't see a lot of people. You get in beautiful locations like this, and there's big fish. There's all kinds of opportunities. I mean, and it's not just cutthroat. So if you're having a tough day catching cutthroat, you can turn around and work on tiger trout or brook trout or grayling, or there's rainbow lakes, and Division of Wildlife's doing a great job of managing this area.
You might have noticed that we didn't share the names of the lakes and reservoirs where we caught many of these fish, and it was for good reason. Many anglers hold the Boulder fishery in high regard. Too much pressure on one small body of water such as these could be detrimental to the fishery. But you do have options. The DWR just put out a pamphlet on fishing the boulders. You can also call the DWR and get some ideas. You may also just strap on a rod to the back of your backpack and discover many of these lakes on your own. It's definitely a little slice of heaven for anglers down here on the boulders.
There you go.
There we go. Second one. Look at that's another pretty fish. Look at the pink on the side of this one.
You know, one thing to think about if you are coming out here and you're going to camp is you are in bear country. Luckily here at this campsite, the Forest Service has installed a bear box. In fact, you can see bear claw marks here where the bear tried to get in. Never store your food in your tent. Always try and find something like a bear box or in your vehicle. Remember, do not feed the bear as well. A fed bear is a dead bear, so you're just dooming that bear and basically going to kill it. Also, pack it in, pack it out. We're looking at this campsite here. There's a bunch of bottles, some wrappers. Pretty disgusting. If you're going to pack it in, do your part and take it back out. Hey, back now to Jeremiah up in Centerville for tonight's Wild Arrow Archery Tech Tip.
Hey guys, Jeremiah with Wild Arrow Archery here. Wanted to bring you this week's archery tech tip. And the number one thing I like to use is this whiteout marker. I think every bow hunter should have one of these in their tackle box. What I do is once I get my bow set and dialed in perfectly, I like to take this white marker and mark a bunch of things on my bow. So after riding a four-wheeler or putting the bow in my backpack, if something is shifted or moved, I can go back and look at these white reference marks to see what is shifted, what has moved on my bow. So the first thing I like to mark is my cams. And what I'll do is I'll take this white marker and I'm gonna mark my cam on each side of my limb. I'm gonna do that on the bottom as well as the top cam. The same thing with that is I'm going to mark my arrow rest here. I'm going to put a mark for my left and right and a mark for my up and down. I'm going to do the same thing on my sight. That way if I'm out shooting one day, say I'm shooting in camp and I notice I'm hitting left or hitting right, I can go back and look at my markers on my references and see if anything has shifted or anything has moved, so I know what to adjust to bring my bow back in. The other great thing that I like to use this with is actually to mark my arrows. I'm going to mark them all 1 through 12 and figure out what arrows seem to group better than the other ones. And those arrows, say if I have arrow number 3, 4, and 5, just always shoot to the same spot, they group good. Those are going to be my arrows that I'm going to hunt with. Those are the ones I'm going to put my broadheads on with. So if you guys need any help or need any more techs or tip or anything, come on down to Wild Arrow Archery. I'd love to help you guys get set up to go bow hunting this year.
So if you do come down to the boulders and go fishing, do not leave your car without a rain jacket. We've already got some clouds building here in the western sky. It's definitely going to rain. Let's check that recreation forecast now by turning it over to Kevin back in the weather department. Welcome back to KSL Outdoors, back here on the boulders. You know what, if you don't want to make the drive all the way down to the boulders, don't worry, there's plenty of fishing going on right now. In fact, the Strawberry Bay Tagged Fishing Contest is underway right now. Quite a few yellow tagged, I've heard, have been caught, and a few red tagged fish have been caught. Get up there, catch a tagged fish. We'll see you in November when we give away that 22-foot Crest pontoon boat.
These are some of the most beautiful cutthroat trout I've ever seen in my life. I've been working on cutthroats for 25 years, so another reason to come down here to southern Utah to the Boulder Mountain, see some of these fish, get out of your normal area where you normally would fish, and come and explore some new country and see some beautiful fish. Wow, that is gorgeous. That's impressive. I love it.
Yep.
It's beautiful. Great. Hey, and when you do come and you catch one of these fish, obviously you got to take a picture for the Cut Slam.
Yeah.
But while you're at it, take a picture for us. Send it into our snapshot contest. You might win our big prize from Camp Chef. Look at that beautiful little fish. Time now to turn it over to you for the best of the week, our snapshot of the week. We kick it off with a successful spring bear hunt for Sam and his dad Bob. Bob first met his guide Travis at last year's ISE show and booked a hunt. They spent 5 days chasing bears. One hunt even took them across 3 different drainages. Finally, the dogs treed this fine black bear, and Bob claimed his first bear to date, a hunt dad and son will never forget. 10-year-old Jackson Anderson could hardly wait for the general season turkey hunt to start, as this would be his first time hunting turkeys. Jackson even earned his own money to pay for his tag and learned a great lesson about patience. After nearly a whole month without success, Jackson's patience and perseverance paid off with this 9.5-inch bearded tom. Jackson's smile says it all, and it is definitely a hunt this kid will never forget. John just moved to Utah last June, so this would be his first time hunting western turkeys. He says he called a hen across the creek, and this nice long bearded tom followed. One shot, and John claimed his first bird west of the Rockies. Brooke and her fiancé Hunter were fishing out of their canoe at Porcupine Dam when they found a honey hole. Hunter caught not 1, but 2 beautiful browns at the pig. The young couple say they love where they live. But our winner tonight helped his younger brother hold his first fish. Kylan and his younger brother Keegan were down with their family at Otter Creek a few weeks ago. Keegan had caught this great rainbow out of the boat, and Mom wanted a picture. The fish was flopping and intimidating to the youngster, so Keegan's older brother jumped in to help. A great fish and even better brother, Keegan, as you just won your family our big prize for having the Snapshot of the Week. Remember, submit your pictures or video plus an explanation of your latest outdoor adventures online at ksltv.com. The winner each week wins a commemorative 100th Anniversary National Parks Cast Iron Dutch Oven and Skillet. And the winner is also entered into our Ford Trucks Quarterly Facebook giveaway for a Camp Chef pellet grill.
Camp Chef has improved your campsite cooking for 25 years. Let's improve your patio cooking with the Camp Chef pellet grill. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
Well guys, we're halfway through the Utah Cutthroat Slam. We've got the Colorado Rivers and we got the Bear River Cutthroat. So what's left?
We got the Yellowstone and the Bonnevilles to still get.
And only your second time on the boulders.
Yeah.
And your daughter Savannah's her first.
First time, yeah. Did you enjoy yourself today?
Yeah.
Yep.
She got to ride a four-wheeler. That was her highlight of the day, wasn't it?
I think so.
Good deal. Hey, this is only day one. We're actually going to stay another day and bring you another show next week on the Boulder Mountains. I'm Adam Eakle, KSL Outdoors. Until then, reminding you to get out with your family, your friends, and make some memories outdoors. We'll see you next weekend. Good night.